Hi, folks. Chris Voss here from the ChrisVossShow.com, the Chris Voss Show.com. Hey, we're coming here with another great podcast. Oh my gosh, we're going to be covering some really cool stuff here. Be sure to give us a like, subscribe to us on YouTube, hit that bell notification at youtube.com/Chris Voss. Be sure to subscribe to the show. You can subscribe to the other 6 podcasts we do at thecvpn.com or Chris Voss Podcast Network.com. And we certainly appreciate you guys being here today. We're going to be covering the show Fabtech 2019. This is going to be a really amazing show that they take and have every year in Chicago, Illinois. It's North America's largest metal forming, fabricating, welding, and finishing event. Now, this is really cool because we're going to be talking about some stuff you're probably like right now going, what? Metal forming? We're going to be talking about robots, technology, all sorts of really cool stuff. And we've got a really cool company to talk to with here. It's Universal Robots. These guys are based out of Ann Arbor, Michigan. And we're going to be talking with Joe Campbell. They're going to be at Fabtech booth B35083. So if you're at the show Fabtech when this airs, be sure to check them out. Go to their booth. Say, hey, Chris Voss sent me down. Joe is the head of marketing for this company. How you doing, Joe? Welcome.
Chris, thanks for having me. I'm having a great day.
Awesome sauce. So you guys got some really cool things going on. You're the head of marketing at universal-robots.com. So you guys can look this up. When people say manufacturing, we talked about this in the pre-show, people kind of think, like U.S. Steel, these old sort of plants. But you guys are in the highly, highly, highly technical, innovative field of robots, even co-robots. We'll get into what that means here in a second. But welcome to the show. Tell us who you are. What brings you to this, and what got you involved with Universal Robots?
Well, I've been with Universal for just a little bit over a year. However, I've got about 40 years in the automation industry. I've been selling, marketing, and managing robots and robot projects for just about my entire career. And I will say that Universal is a very, very different place than the traditional automation companies. As you mentioned, we make a collaborative robot. And for those who have not heard that term, collaborative means with the proper safety protocols, our robots can work literally side by side with human operators on an assembly or processing line.
And I need a few of those to work alongside me in the podcast. I need one to be like running the camera and stuff like that.
There's people doing all of that right now.
So they call collaborative robots cobots, which is pretty interesting. I learned something new today. There's cobots that are out there.
That is the slang term for collaborative robots.
Do robots appreciate that slang? I mean, is that cool with them?
Apparently, because this particular segment is the fastest growing segment in factory automation. It is really projected to continue that growth for years and years and years to come. So it's an exciting place to be.
Awesome sauce, because when Skynet takes over and robots become self-aware, we don't want them angry at us because we were slanging them the whole time.
I have not seen the new Terminator movie, so I can't speak to that.
I need to play some Terminator music. Don, don, don. So you guys at Universal Robots, what do you guys do? How do you guys do it there?
Well, we actually build a family of standard robot products. And we're not very creative in our naming convention. We call them the UR3, UR5, UR10, and UR16. UR, obviously, for Universal Robots, 3, 5, 10, and 16 refers to their payload capacity in kilograms. So these are mostly small robots.
Mm-hmm. So they're not the giant ones maybe I'd see at a car manufacturing place that are putting the cars together. They're kind of when you say smaller, can you give me an idea on scale?
Yeah, these have roughly a 1 meter reach, 1.5 meter reach, 3 foot, 4 foot. So they're fairly small. Okay. You will find them in automotive plants, but you just won't find them carrying really ultra heavy payloads.
So I'd have a better chance of arm wrestling one of these then?
You actually you can't arm wrestle it, because if it makes contact with your arm, it shuts itself off.
Oh, okay. Well, that's
Right,
good.
and that's part of the safety protocol.
That's good. I need a robot. I need a robot for a lot of stuff. I could use a robot for the boom. It brings the mic in to me. Then I can have one for, serving me beer or something. That's what I definitely need here at the house, is a beer robot.
Yeah, I'll let you sell that at home. That's going to be a tough sell.
But no, so you guys help these manufacturers. Now, why is there a need for this? What's going on in our economy? What's going on out there in the world that these are something that are in demand?
Well, I think there's a number of drivers. First of all, recognize robots have been around for a long, long time, right? The industries was established back in the late 60s and continues today. The typical drivers have been to improve efficiency and improve quality. And there's certain tasks that you just can't do as a human. The biggest driver today, though, is this really significant shortage of labor in the manufacturing community. I'm fortunate I get to travel around the U.S. and I speak to groups wide and far. I talk to a lot of plant managers and CEOs and owners, and universally they are struggling to hire people to work in their manufacturing plants. And it has really become a significant problem.
Wow.
So today, I think automation is being deployed to kind of solve this labor shortage.
Which is really wild. I know that our economy is humming along. I know there's a lot of demand for employees, but it's because manufacturing kind of has a sort of stigma of, a lot of sweat and, the sweaty, burly guys that I used to see going to like Geneva Steel, US Steel back in the day.
Well, yep. You see two big drivers. The first is demographic. I'm part of the problem. I'm a baby boomer.
Mm-hmm.
And my counterparts are retiring at the rate of 10,000 per day.
Wow.
Right now, 27% of the U.S. manufacturing workforce is 55 years or older. That means in 10 years, we're going to have to find 27% of the manufacturing workforce to replace these skilled workers that are retiring. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So that is a really significant challenge. I think the second thing is the younger generations, not to disparage anybody in particular, but really none of the younger generations are interested in working the dull, dirty, or dangerous manufacturing jobs.
Yeah.
It's no surprise.
Yeah. But it's interesting nowadays. I mean, this is what I'm seeing a lot of the pictures from Fabtech and different things. The world's really changing. It's not these dirty floor, steel smelting, we've got iron pouring out of smelting units and, ash coming everywhere, and you come home covered in dirt. Most of the manufacturing, I don't know if most is the proper word, but a lot of manufacturing nowadays is highly technical. And
it is.
Computerized.
It is, absolutely. However, if you particularly look at the Fabtech portfolio, metal fabrication is still one of the most challenging manufacturing tasks, whether you're welding or cutting, machining, bending, any of those metal fab processes. And so it's a great place for automation. Again, our adage is, let's go look for the dull, dirty, and dangerous task and automate it, and let's take our skilled operators and move them into more value-added tasks, move them up the food chain.
Yeah, I need some robots for my bathroom, for cleaning my bathroom, because that's a dirty
So we've gone from pouring beer to cleaning your bathroom. This is really going to be a tough sell.
I need some robots, man. But anyway, so you guys have got all these really cool robots. You build them. You deal with the co-robots that are easy to program, fast to deploy, and safe to use. They solve your labor issues and manufacturing operations at companies of all size. You guys also do free online training. Train people in your academy.
Yep, we have an online academy. It's a little less than 2 hours. You can work your way through 9 modules, and it is very, very successful. To date, I believe we've had over 73,000 people trained in the UR Academy, and in many cases, that is the only formal training that they're required.
Right? So they don't have to go to college for 4 years and get a technical MIT degree.
No, we have great success recruiting intelligent people, right, in the manufacturing side
Hmm.
who are working hands-on in the process and turning them into robot programmers and operators.
And if you're a millennial Gen Z right now, I'm watching their website, and I mean, they're working with kind of tablet, iPad-ish sort of looking devices. They're programming it. You guys put them through a whole course to become programmers, integrators. I imagine is repair some of this work?
Could be,
Could
absolutely.
be.
Although
Yeah.
the stuff is very, very reliable, but
Yeah.
yeah, there's definite repair function there. I think
Repair, putting them in
the other thing that
place.
we see is when manufacturing companies start to deploy automation, and particularly collaborative robot automation,
Hmm.
the image of the company improves significantly. It now becomes a much more interesting place to work because you're interviewing not for a dull, dirty, or dangerous job. You're interviewing to really work side by side and operate the robots.
Yeah. And basically, I mean, it's plug and play products, certified compatible. You're looking with software. I mean, if you're someone who can't afford to go to Silicon Valley, and I don't know anybody that can afford that, actually. I've got
Not
friends
anymore.
living in cars there. And I mean, there's Berkeley professors living in cars that work for Berkeley College. That's just crazy to me. And it's just insane. And it doesn't seem to be getting any better up there.
No.
But this is certainly a way. I mean, it kind of strikes me that we have all these people that are supposed to be living in middle America. You hear about Michigan and different places. A lot of the people left behind from the car industry. Man, you wish that somehow there was a way we could get these jobs out to them, or we could move them to where these jobs are. Because what you're telling me is they can very easily learn this sort of business. And what's the pay like for this sort of industry?
It's like any other manufacturing profession, right?
Hmm.
It's very well paid.
Yeah.
I think that's really been one of the key points for the success of the Midwest is the manufacturing community.
And if
I
I
think
didn't have my business, I would go into a technical field. I tried computer programming, and I just can't do code. I'm just not a coder.
yeah,
And so, but this sort of field seems like it would be not only highly specialized, but something that wouldn't have, everybody and their dog in it competing with you for it. So that would give you a leg up, especially on the future advancements of technology, automation. I mean, there's just going to be more of this stuff going on, especially with, cars becoming more automated. A lot of people think we're going to be out of jobs, but my friends like Robert Scoble, who are tech prophets and gods in the tech business, they're still humans that are going to have to program this stuff, work on it, repair it, design it, all that sort of stuff, and the applicable
yeah.
nature of it. And so,
Chris, I can tell you, you're absolutely spot on.
mhm,
The issue today is certainly not robots taking jobs.
mhm,
Robots are absolutely saving jobs. I'll give you a
there you go.
couple data points and one anecdotal point. Right now, there's over 1.5 million open, unfilled manufacturing jobs in America. That's not my statistic. That's the
Wow.
Bureau of Labor and Statistics,
Wow.
right? Hiring is listed by manufacturing companies, executive level, on a survey done by the National Association of Manufacturing. Hiring is the number one challenge they all report.
Wow.
So it is a big deal, and it's projected to get bigger.
And that just means they're going to be paying a lot of money to get you to hire. I mean, I've been through those series with the businesses that we've owned where you can't
Yep.
hire the people because it gets so competitive and you have to start jacking the price. Recently, Bank of America says they're going to start paying people $20 an hour starting
Yeah.
out in 2020. I mean, this is what's happening with these things. But this seems like a really highly technical market. And one of the problems we've had is the loss of manufacturing jobs or the perceived loss of manufacturing jobs in the old world. And, now we've become this service-based industry where, hey, you want a job? You can go get a job for $10 an hour, $15 an hour at Subway making sandwiches. This seems like a job that would really be great for a hold on the future, something where you can design, because you worked in this field for 40 years. So you've probably seen, it go through all of its iterations, right?
Yeah, I think the big change that we're seeing today is, previously the requirement to deploy automation is you had to be an engineer,
Hmm.
preferably a robotics engineer. You had to be a programmer. But what Universal has done is really changed the whole paradigm of how you apply automation. We've completely simplified the application of the product and the programming of the product. We've simplified the engineering required to interface peripherals like grippers and even vision systems. And because of that, right, we're stripping out all this cost and complexity of the project so we can deploy automation very, very quickly with a very, very good ROI. And that's catching the attention of manufacturers big and small. Again, look at where they are. They're pinched with a labor crisis. They can't find enough people to work in their factories. And if we can come in and show them a cost-effective way to quickly deploy automation with low risk and a quick payback, it's a great formula.
That's freaking awesome. I mean, and this field just has tons of sky, tons of range to take and go. So in fact, I just came with the idea. I should have like a side podcast co-host because I've been having problems, always getting a co-host. I should get a robot co-host. Then they'll always show up.
They don't talk. They don't talk so good. That's kind of the problem.
What I'll do is I'll just learn ventriloquism, and then I can edit and post.
There you go. That'll work.
I'll just learn ventriloquism. How's it going, eh? Then we could do robot jokes. That'll be funny. So moving on, let's talk about what you guys are doing there at Fabtech. Fabtech is going to be a huge show. I guess you guys are going to have a booth there talking to people and sharing it. What are some of the things you're premiering at the show and covering, and what are some of the reasons why people should definitely drop by your guys' booth?
Well, so let's go take a half a step back first.
Okay.
So the number one application in the robotics industry is material handling, specifically loading and unloading machines. And it's a great example because it's one of those dull jobs that nobody wants to do. I mean, really, do you want to stand in front of a machine tool all day and put parts in and take parts out, put parts in and take parts out? It's not very exciting.
Yeah.
So every place we go where there's any kind of manufacturing, we always show some type of machine tending, machine loading application. At this show, we're going to have a couple really interesting things, though, because now we're doing collaborative arc welding.
Oh, wow.
And again, historically, I mean, robots have been doing arc welding for a long time, but they've been the traditional automation, hard safety caging, can't work next to people. And in this case, we're actually showing collaborative arc welding robots, very easy to program, quick to deploy. And they'll be in our booth and throughout the show.
Nice.
So I think that part is very, very exciting.
Yeah, when I went to high school, I actually took welding because I grew up in the age where they said you've got to learn leather shop, wood shop, and metal because that's your future.
Sorry.
Still waiting for that all to kick in. But one of the classes that I ended up taking because I was just slumming through high school was welding. And welding was kind of fun, but man, I tell you, if you're ever I used to have these Adidas shoes that had kind of like a mesh top to them.
That doesn't work so well, does it?
Yeah, when one of those hot embers fell into that shoe, man, there was like a dance you'd end up doing, like, oh, geez.
This is one of the areas that's really difficult right now. There's an estimated shortage of skilled welders, somewhere in the 75 to 85,000 range.
Wow.
That's a lot of welders that are
because they got tired of having their toes burned.
Well, the toes burn, and then frankly, put your head under a helmet all day. It's difficult work. It really is difficult.
I've had the eye burn too because you're wandering around the shop and you didn't put your thing on. You looked over and saw some welding stuff, and you're like, that'll be fine. Then that night, you're like, your eyes are melting.
Yeah, so I think welding's been a great place for automation for a long time, and I think what we're going to show at Fabtech is taking it to a whole different level.
Yeah, and I think it's cool that this is really becoming a technical thing. You guys should I think what they should do is take manufacturing, just rename it something else, like, I don't know, something that's Gen Z. See, I think if you took most of these robots and attached like an iPhone to them, so that they'd be like watching the screen, maybe integrated robotic manufacturing with Instagram somehow. I don't know. I'm just kidding.
Well, you're not far off the mark. One of the products that's built around the universal robot at the show is actually programmed and controlled from an iPhone.
There you go. There you go.
And in we think our interface is extremely easy to understand. We basically say, if you can handle an iPhone, you can handle our robot. But this company took it one step further, and they literally do all their programming through a phone.
That is awesome, man. That is awesome. The future. This is going to be a cool show to see, because we've always talked about this turning of the age, the turning of the page, where we're going from the society where largely we used to be a manufacturing society. I mean, that was what we were really about. And I remember in the 80s going through that change where people, were like, wait, we don't get a job for life anymore with the gold watch at the end. Things are becoming more what's the right word, more transient and we've a lot of my friends who are tech innovators, tech news people and stuff, we always talked about how we're going to have to go through this economic segment. We're kind of seeing that right now in our politics and everything else, and how people are have issues with jobs. And they're going from a transition where they used to work in the old manufacturing stuff, and they're not skilled labor for some of this new stuff. And so it's really great that you guys have this, where this transition can be much more easy to learn and adapt to, where you don't have to go get an engineering degrry or degree or learn to code.
I think the other thing for people to remember is, as a society, we've gone through these transitions forever. Right?
Yeah.
And they're not black and white transitions.
Mm-hmm.
There's a couple politicians who are, speaking about the robots taking all the jobs, and we're going to have millions of people out of work next week. It's not going to happen that way, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so the challenge, I think, is for our leadership and our government to help make sure that we don't leave people behind.
Yeah. I remember it. And the other thing too is that as businesses become more efficient and more cost efficient, they don't necessarily always go, hey, we need to lay off more people. They just become bigger businesses that hire more people. I remember our mortgage company back in the day. This is back when telemarketing was much larger, and legitimate telemarketing, let's put it that way, because everyone's robo-dials now. Don't hate me for that. That's not my thing. But back in the day, we had telemarketing that would generate leads for our mortgage company. And of course, we were having trouble just scaling it and making it cost efficient and profitable. We were a very small company at the time. And then we got a robo-dialer, a big giant cedar dialer. And of course, it complied with all the rules of the FTC. And they do not call us. But as we built that out and we spent all the money for that, it automated the systems, made us much more profitable, and we exploded as a company and hiring more people. And so, like you say, there's that discussion of like, well, they're going to take our jobs. They're actually not. They're going to, as companies become more efficient, they're going to get bigger, hire more people, because they're going to have needs to oversee these robots, and yada, yada, yada. That there it becomes scalable as it becomes more profitable.
Well, and I think what we see is, again, I've been in the automation business for a long, long time. We've traditionally sold to larger companies because larger companies had the wherewithal to have a big engineering department, maybe a couple robotics specialists, et cetera. What we're doing now is we're bringing this very incremental, easy to deploy automation into small and medium enterprises. And it is really making a change. These are places that prior to this era have never been automated because it just didn't make economic sense.
Yeah, I mean, the ability for a small company to move into this field is like, we don't have that kind of money, man.
And I'll tell you, the very first customer I met when I joined Universal Robots was a man who owned a small contract machine shop outside of Dallas. And he had 16 employees.
Wow.
And he was struggling to hire and to keep people. He was struggling to grow his business. The only way he could get his business to grow is he personally had to put in way too many hours. And he was looking for a solution because he knew what he was doing was not sustainable. Well, long story short, he found Universal. He bought one of our robots. Within a month, he had it figured out. And again, he's not a robot programmer. He's a machinist.
So you guys trained him through your training program?
Yep. He went online. He figured out how to get it to work. He got it installed. and the payback was just totally impressive. He was doing jobs in less turnaround time than he ever had.
Mm-hmm.
So flash forward, here's this little bitty machine shop, right? 16 people. He's now 22 people. He's got 9 robots. He's making more profit than he ever has. He's taking larger orders than he could before because he can process them.
Salespeople.
Yep.
And
so it's just that incremental success story that is getting replayed over and over and over again.
And to me, if I was, someone, there's, I mean, I have some Gen Zer friends and relatives that their kids don't want to go to college. They don't want to learn, they don't want to go do the whole 4-year degree and get $5 million in debt. I mean, to me, this seems like a great way, beside coding, to take in. Not everyone can code. I can't even deal with coding. I suck at math. But this is a great way to get a future, a foothold in a future business that's just going to scale and grow. This is the future as far as we can see it right now.
It is. And again, we've made the programming interface and the application tools for the basic applications. Mm-hmm. We can do more complex things, but for the basic applications, I guarantee you, I could teach you how to be a robot programmer.
I want to be a robot. I'm going to get a robot co-host.
We're going to do it. We're going to do it. I can see it coming.
For the show. And what if it puts me out of a job though? What if the co-host takes over and becomes more popular than me? No, I'm just kidding.
You got to have the creativity.
No, you know what I'll do? I'll just unplug the robot. I'll be like, kick that cord. Yeah. All right. Oh, the robot's down. Yeah, robot's sick. Yeah. We're going to put that robot
there you go.
Anyway, this is going to be awesome. You guys can check this out. You can go to universal-robots.com. You can see them at Fabtech. If you check out the show there in Chicago, they're going to be at booth number B35083. Joe, it's been wonderful to have you. Anything more we should know about what you guys are doing there at the Fabtech show?
I think the last message I'd like to leave your audience with is if you're going to come to this show, we really want you to come by the booth. Not just to look at the shiny, bright lights and everything, but I want you to come by the booth and I want you to be able to pick up a Teach pendant and see how easy it is to apply collaborative robot automation from Universal. It really is an eye-opener.
It's that easy. Wow.
Yep.
Damn. You're making me think. I'm thinking maybe I should quit my job.
Come to Chicago.
That or I'll just get a co-host. But yeah, we'll be covering it in Chicago. This is going to be awesome. So everyone, be sure to check it out. And if you're not at the show, you can go to universal-robots.com and you can, of course, contact all the folks over there. You can see some of their wonderful use cases they have. They have some really cool cases here from Bajaj Auto, Continental. You probably heard of them. The big, I think they do a lot more, but they do tires. Task 4 Tips, Trelleborg. They've got a whole mess of case stories and studies you can take and get into and all the different applications they use. I'm really excited about this. This is a really burgeoning field, and a lot of my tech journalists, we talk about this, this kind of curve that we have to go through. But wow, this is definitely a quick ramp up from the U curve because it doesn't have the same sort of learning curve that you would have to, be an engineer.
Yeah, and that's why this segment is the fastest growing segment in factory automation.
Really? Wow.
Yep.
There you go. The future is here, people.
Come on, see it. Come on and see it.
Definitely come see it. All right, guys. Well, we certainly appreciate you guys tuning in. Be sure to give us a like, subscribe to us on YouTube. Also, follow us on Spotify, on iHeartRadio, on iTunes, Google Play. Tell your friends, neighbors, relatives, everybody to subscribe to the show. We certainly appreciate you guys tuning in. Be sure to also, if you can, give the show a nice referral. Go on to iTunes and tell us what you think of the show and all that good stuff. Appreciate you tuning in. Go see these folks at Fabtech. We'll see more coverage of the show as it goes on, and we'll see you guys next time.